Have you heard this term, imposter syndrome? Of course you have, because you're alive in the world and you probably also experience it. Before we begin, Ciara, why are you dressed like an outer space 60s kind of cool go-go dancer girl? Because I'm on my way to a really fancy drag brunch. And that's sort of exactly the right time to talk about imposter syndrome, because the art of drag, of course, is the most wonderful thing where people can dress up like something that looks totally different and just go out there and be their biggest selves. And I think it is the best metaphor for what we are going to talk about today. And not even a metaphor, an example. So, first of all, let's define imposter syndrome. So, imposter syndrome is a term that was coined by somebody who deeply regrets not trademarking it because now they're going to die in abject poverty instead of on the island which they own. I'm sorry, if I had a time machine, I would absolutely take you back to the US Trademark Office and help you to trademark that term so that you could be printing that money. But you didn't. And so here we are left with just the term. So imposter syndrome refers to that feeling that you get like, I'm not good enough, not in general, but like for this certain opportunity. So it could be, here's a job that I would love to do, but like, I'm not ready yet. I'm not good enough yet. Like my resume isn't totally perfect for that. Like, oh, I don't have that one qualification out of the 20 that they're asking for in this job description. Or maybe you're invited to an event and you're thinking, oh, the person who invited me, they're kind of, like on this whole social level. And so probably their friends are gonna be like fancier than me, and that never happens to me, fancier. No, but it does happen to me because sometimes I'll get invited to a social event. If I don't know anybody, I actually get really nervous because I don't like small talk. And so the idea of going to like someone's kid's birthday and then I'm standing around and I don't quite know what to talk about and then I want to talk about something totally inappropriate for a kid's birthday party. So I will have a sense of imposter syndrome when I feel like I'm not a perfect match for something, or like maybe a little overqualified for something. And of course this gets in the way, because what if this party is the best part of your day? What if this party is where you meet your new best friend? What if this job is your dream job that leads to all kinds of opportunities? What if they're looking for somebody exactly like you? Or what if they don't even think they can have someone as amazing as you? So we don't want to hold ourselves back from these opportunities, because that's the whole point of life, to experience as many things as you can and to have fun and have joy and to challenge yourself and to grow. That is my most deeply held value. And I think that if you're listening to me right now, that's really important to you too. So I want to share with you the 3 ways that I have found to get past my imposter syndrome. I'm not saying I solved it. I say this is how I overcome imposter syndrome, not how I overcame imposter syndrome, because I'm gonna keep encountering it, right? If I'm a growth-oriented person. I want to keep growing and keep, leveling up in my life and in my career, my relationships and my projects and my creativity. And so I'm gonna keep reaching the edge of my comfort zone. And when I reach that edge, especially basically when other people are involved, if I'm going to have an audience or be in a group of people or be involved with people I don't know yet and I'm not sure how they feel about me, I'm going to feel a little bit of imposter syndrome. So I have to keep using these tools over and over, but these are some tools I've used for a really long time. So they work really well for me, and I hope that you can steal them and they will work well for you too. Because I don't want you to play small either. I want you to have the biggest and most gorgeous and most fun life with challenges that you have to overcome. And so this is how I do it. So number 1, if A-list professional, famous, rich people can go through imposter syndrome, that means everyone goes through imposter syndrome. So it sort of all cancels out. So I was reading an article by, I think, Martha Beck, who was the life coach that wrote a column in Oprah's magazine. And I read this, over 15 years ago. And she was talking about how she coaches people who are like A-list movie stars in Hollywood. And even they get imposter syndrome. Think about it. Anybody, any artist that you admire, I think about, obviously Beyonce, and lots of other people too, but any artist I admire, they're breaking new ground, they're pushing themselves, they're trying something new, and there's always a risk involved. And they're doing it on this public global stage, and they actually get reviews and critics and all of those things. And I don't think that money and fame totally inoculate you from that. And so I try to channel some of that bravery, or I think, you know what, this is not on that level. All I'm trying to do here is just like get a meeting with somebody in my town, and so that just brings things into perspective. So that's a really good tool, again, that I have found works for me and I hope might work for you. Now, number 2, this is the very most strongest one that works really well for me. And this is, imagine the most mediocre, undeserving person you know getting that opportunity, and how much would that piss you off? So we all know this person. Maybe, okay, I'm going to describe them and try not to be very exact, but if you can think of an exact person, that's good, or maybe it's just a general type of person. Probably there are people in like movies or TV shows that symbolize this person. So this is a person who just is really confident. They just never question themselves. And it's not in like a cool aspirational way. Maybe at first you're like, oh wow, I wish I could be like them. But then you realize like there's not a lot of there. Like they're a lot of talk, but their skills are pretty medium, or like they did one thing well once, but they're not that great, like objectively. And just all around pretty mediocre, but they have this swagger. They have this unearned, undeserved swagger, and it gets them in the room, and it gets these doors open, and gets them these opportunities, and their resume just keeps getting better. I've known women like that. I've known lots of men like that. I've known people in different jobs, industries, even friendships like that. And once I realized, oh, they're not actually like great at what they do, they just never question themselves. And what I do is I either kind of cosplay that swagger, I try to adopt it and just do that for as long as I can to get through the situation, or I imagine if they got this opportunity instead of me, I could do it so much better. So I am not going to let them get it, for the good of the world, not just for myself, for all of man-person kind. Because we do not need mediocre people having these opportunities, running things. They can do mediocre things. Let's get those of us who care about excellence and care about giving back and care about actually doing our best and leveling up. Let's put those people into these opportunities. How much better would the world be? So yes, you are allowed to go ahead and bypass the mediocrity. Number 3 is kind of similar. I imagine, what if somebody did this thing in my style, in my way, and got all kinds of accolades for it, while I did something the way I think it's supposed to be, and it just didn't click. Let me give you an example. Let's say I want to host an event, and it's a professional event for some like city leaders. So I think, oh my gosh, I have to be like super buttoned up. I'm gonna wear like a navy blue shell dress to the knee and pearls, and have my hair up, not with a fun Ariana Grande circa 2014 ponytail, but I'm going to be, like really formal and professional, and I'm gonna serve like mini quiches or something at this party, versus how Ciara would do it, like real deal, true to herself, Ciara. I'm going to wear something a little more fashion forward. I might not wear this for it, but something more fashion forward, something more fun. I'm going to wear some big jewelry. I'm going to be super excited to see everybody. I'm very friendly with people. I'm not very formal, not in a disrespectful way, but almost in a more respectful way because I'm seeing them as people. And I'm going to put a disco ball somewhere and it's going to be a party, right? And some people might not like that. But my people are gonna love that. And they'll forget this other way of doing it. Not just because it's how everybody does it, but because it's not authentic to me. So it's just not gonna click. Okay, so imagine somebody getting that opportunity and doing it the way you would have done it if you were brave enough. And then they get all the accolades and everyone's like, oh my gosh, this was so groundbreaking, blah, blah, blah. You would be pissed. So don't let that happen, right? Now I'm going to tell you a secret. I had recorded this blog yesterday and I made the focus really narrow, like, oh, only women go through this, or, you know, like, oh, if you have privilege, you don't ever deal with this, and like all those things. And I definitely think I see this happen more with maybe people from certain backgrounds or who've been kind of told by the world, you can only do this or you have to do things this way because it becomes a survival issue. So I'm not saying it's easy to overcome these things. Like inside us as humans, we're like biologically programmed to fit in with the tribe and to have community. So, you know, these things are important. But also society will tell us you have to be in this box in order for things to work. Now, I don't believe in boxes, but I do believe in brackets because there's the whole like, sometimes you know, you gotta be somewhat appropriate. You know, if I'm throwing this event and I show up in my swimsuit and a cover up, that would not be appropriate, even if it's my favorite swimsuit. However, I have shown up in a swimsuit to a business conference, but that's because this business conference was at a resort in Cabo and the speaking engagement was in a pool. And yes, this is a real conference. Shout out to Cabo Press, Chris Lemma's awesome Mexico-driven conference where the speakers in fact do speak in the pool. Highly recommend. But, you know, I'm still going to do that in a way that's authentic to me, that makes me feel comfortable, that makes me focusing on giving everybody else a great time and not just me and how nervous I feel. So yes, there's a lot against us when we're trying to be authentic and we're trying to go for it and we're trying to expand and grow and level up. But here's some pro tips, right, that you can use. If A-list people, the people at the top of their game, can get through it, so can you. If that super mediocre person who's all talk and very little action can go for it, then you better go for it. And if somebody else were to do it in your authentic, wonderful, unique 0.0000001% of the world's population way, no, that's you. You do it. That world needs what you can do. And that's how you find your people. And that's how, that's the point. That's the whole point of life, right? So I know there are many other ways to overcome imposter syndrome. So if you have some good tips, some things that work for you, of course, please let me know or drop them in the comments and tell everybody, because just how much better would the world be if we were all feeling more confident and actually doing the thing we really want to do and going for it. And, you know, even if you go for it and it doesn't work out, I think it's worth it, right? Because we learn and we grow. So do you know what I'm going to do with that? I'm going to go to drag brunch because drag is where I get to watch people be their biggest, boldest, over the top selves. And it helps me be more brave to do things in my life, like wear gold sequins in the middle of a Saturday and really oversized gold earrings. And I'll probably wear my gold sequin shoes too. And wouldn't it be a better world if everybody was walking around at 12 on a Saturday in gold sequins? I think so.